So, good afternoon, students, and let us have today the third session on halogen family. The last two sessions you discussed about various physical properties of halogen family, right? So, the color state, you all aware. So, as molecular weight increases naturally, so iodine gets solid state, right? Is in solid. So bromine is a liquid, slightly moderate molecular weight, and low molecular weight all gases, very well. Okay. And as you go down, reactivity decreases because fluorine is highly reactive. It has more nuclear attraction to accept an electron, right? Yeah. So I'm going to discuss about a pretty important concept, that is about the displacement reactions. Students, the one which is having the higher oxidizing power is going to displace the other one. It's very important. That means fluorine is going to displace chlorine, bromine, iodine. And chlorine is going to displace bromine, iodine. And bromine is going to displace iodine only. So let us see how. Students, just have a look at here. So here you have chlorine, right? So naturally, chlorine and chlorine, there won't be any reaction, right? So here you have chlorine, right? So chlorine and KCl, there won't be any reaction. Chlorine and KCl, there won't be any reaction, right? And chlorine, when you add KBr, that means, which is more electronegative, which is more reactive, chlorine, right? It is going to displace this Br. This is going to displace this bromine from the reaction. So that leads to the formation of bromine. So reddish brown color solution. Why reddish brown color solution is appearing, students? Because here bromine is formed. Where bromine is formed? When you made to react KBr with chlorine. KBr with chlorine. When you made to react KBr with chlorine, so what happened? Bromine will be displaced. Similarly, here iodine will be displaced. Okay, iodine is violet color, right? Of course, you get brown, it's slightly violet. So you'll be getting this color. So here chlorine has displaced iodine. So in this case, chlorine has displaced bromine. Similarly, students, I already conveyed to you. Bromine can displace only iodine, but not others, right? Similarly, iodine, there is no reaction. It can't displace anything, right? So the powerful oxidants are going to displace the lower ones. So similarly, have a look here, students. So when you take the halogens like chlorine, bromine, and iodine, so here when chlorine is reacted with KCl, there won't be any reaction. Here there is no reaction here, no reaction, right? Similarly, when it is made to react with KBr, so it is going to displace the bromine. So KBr, Br is displaced and bromine is formed. Similarly, here iodine is formed, and bromine is considered only iodine is formed. And iodine, there is no reaction, nothing. So iodine cannot displace any other halogen, right? Students, very, very important. Similarly, and so on. See, earlier case, I have taken KBr solution. Now I have taken NaCl, NaBr. When I take NaBr, you get bromine will be formed. So when I take Na iodine, NaI, I'm going to get so iodine, reddish violet, right? Similarly, bromine can displace only iodine. So I hope you're all clear about this concept, very important concept of displacement reactions, right? So pretty much. So here chlorine you have taken, halogen you have taken, here bromide you have taken, a monovalent anion you have taken, right? So in one side you have taken chlorine, bromine, and iodine. In other case you have taken so chloride, bromide, and iodide. Already I conveyed to you. Chlorine can displace only bromine, iodine, and bromine can displace only iodine, and iodine cannot displace any halogen. Students, but fluorine displaces all the three, right? What fluorine will displace? Help me. What fluorine will displace? Anyone?
Sir, chlorine, bromine, iodine.
Yeah, this fluorine is going to displace, okay, Cl minus, Br minus, and I minus to Cl2, Br2, and I2, right? So here you get, similarly, you can see here, these are the some of the, and these are redox reactions, right? Come on, let us prove how they are redox. Students, have a look here. This chlorine, what is the oxidation state? 0. Now chlorine is the oxidizing agent, the process gets reduced minus. What is the bromine oxidation state? Minus. And it is oxidized. See, you can hear. So chlorine oxidizes because chlorine is more powerful than, see here. This is, so this is all about. So here this oxidation, oxidizing agent undergoes reduction and reducing agent undergoes oxidation. I hope you are clear about these reactions. Good. Now, this is the essence of displacement chemistry, right? So fluorine, when you add fluoride, there won't be any reaction, right? So here, when you have taken fluoride, there won't be any reaction, right? So see here, fluoride you have taken, no reaction, okay? And you know, chloride will be displaced to chlorine, right? Agreed. Similarly, fluorine displaces bromine and iodine, right? And naturally, chlorine cannot displace the next. So here, chlorine cannot displace fluorine and chlorine also. It can displace only bromine and iodine, right? So these are the some of the things which you are expected to realize the concept, right? So you are expected to realize this concept because this is pretty important in the competitive examination. And repeatedly these questions are asked. I have seen many times. So iodine. Similarly, bromine can displace only iodine. So iodine cannot displace anything, right? So these are the halogen halide chemistry, redox chemistry. Halogen halide redox chemistry. Good. So this is all about the displacement reaction. Now let us get into the most interesting episode, that is interhalogen compounds. Okay. Interhalogen compounds means, try to understand, students. So halogen reacts with another halogen and it forms a compound. So what are those? Let us see. The pretty important thing is interhalogen compounds are more reactive than halogens. So interhalogen compounds are more reactive than halogens. Try to understand, students. Yeah. Pawan Sagar, Karthik, you are late and disturbing the teacher. Don't come late. So you know very well, all the halogens will combine and forms interhalogen compounds. So let us see those things. So halogen plus another halogen is going to form interhalogen. Inter means within, right? Between two. One halogen, another halogen is combining, right? For example, Cl is combining with halogen. So Cl and F, it is a different halogen. So two different halogens are combining. Interhalogen. Inter means within. Within the halogens they are combining, right? Yeah. Students, this is not there actually in other systems. So oxygen cannot combine with sulfur. OS is anyhow. Let us see. These are of 3 types. Please don't come late. Students are still coming, and so my concentration is getting distracted. Please try to understand. This is not the way to respect the teachers. Now, you see AX, it forms compounds like AX, AX3, AX5, and AX7. So unknowingly, these things you have studied in chemical bonding chapter. So regarding interhalogen compounds, what is important is only the hybridization, bond angle, and the geometry. That's pretty important. Okay. So let us see various kinds of interhalogen compounds now. So X is largest size halogen, and X dash is always smaller one. Okay. For example, IF3. I is greater. Okay. F is smaller. ICl3. I is greater. Cl3 is smaller. Agreed. BRF3. Bromine is greater. F is smaller. Understanding? ICl4. I is greater. Cl is smaller. ICl3. ClF3. BRF3. BRF5. I hope you understood. So let us see some of the interhalogen compounds. Yes, please.
Sir, if ICl means which will be greater, sir?
Could you be more clear and audible?
Yes, sir. Sir, if it is ICl, sir.
ICl, yes. Yeah. ICl.
For
yeah, tell me.
ICl3, iodine will be greater, no, sir. in that way, for ICL, which one will be greater?
Iodine. Iodine is larger size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is X dash. So X is greater than X dash. That's what here the meaning I've given actually. Yeah. Understood? Yeah. So this is ICL. Yeah. Gaurinath, now you have come. It's not good. Be on time. Teacher has to educate. Otherwise, he is not a teacher. You should come at right time. Do not be late. Don't say any lame excuses. I'm also having my priorities. I kept my priorities. I said, this is my top priority, teaching my students. Now, just let us have a look at the chemistry of this interhalogen compounds. So we can see, students, here, there are some XY type. There are some XY type halogens. You can see here, CLF, which is a gas, PRF, BRCL, ICL, IBR. So mostly these are asked in the complex exam. These three are asked in the complex examination. BRF5, IFF5, IF7. All these things are asked in the complex examination. The structures have been asked. So let us learn. So these structure. This is the NCERT slide. So you find all these compounds in the NCERT text in halogen chemistry. Yeah, and they have given the physical state and color, and particularly the shapes, and that means the hybridations associated with it. So if you see all these things, so what is asked in the complex examination? So ClF3, BRF3 is asked, ICl3 is asked, IF5, BRF5, IF7. These are asked in the complex examination so far. So how to prepare is very simple. So two halogens you have to combine and you have to heat at a particular temperature. Naturally, interhalogen compounds will be formed. So, and you have to add in a proper proportion or excess. This is very simple to understand, right? Yeah. So let us understand the reactivity towards the halogen. Okay. So here, a bigger halogen and reacting with a smaller halogen, and it leads to formation of X dash. So this bond will be formed, right? Yeah. So students, this is what is the interhalogen compound. Similarly, XX3 type, how it forms. So naturally, this is X dash, XX dash 3, CLF3, BRF3, IF3. So X dash 5, BRF5, right? IF5. This is how these will be. So IF7 is the only compound. Okay, with IF7 is the only compound you have here. That is a pentagonal bipyramidal structure with sp3 d3 hybridization. Now these are the some of the hybridization. These are some of the hybridizations which are presented in this slide. Have a look here. So here, basically, so AX is linear, and AX3 is T-shaped, AX5 is square pyramidal, and AX7 is pentagonal bipyramidal, right? So let us see its structures more closely. Let us discuss. So this chemistry. So now ICL. So ICL is not having any structure. It's completely linear only. So monochloride. Iodine monochloride. Similarly, BRF3 is a T-shape. Students, but here one important point is there. I'm going to explain. So this is a fluorinating agent. This is a fluorinating agent which is used in reprocessing of nuclear fuel. Similarly, try to understand. I've conveyed this structure. This structure is a T-shape with a sp3d hybridization. So students, try to understand. Here there is a lone pair, right? This is lone pairs. Actually, in the T-shape, the bond angle should be how much, students? What is the expected bond angle? 90 degrees. But here the bond angle is not 90 degrees. It is less than 90 degrees. Why it is less than 90 degrees? Because of the lone pair bond pair repulsion, lone pair bond pair repulsion. Oh, here lone pair, lone pair. So here you have a lone pair repulsion is there, and also a bond pair and a bond pair repulsion is observed in this, right? So this is the thing. So you have to understand. So the compounds like here, so ClF3, BrF3. So these are having T-shape only. They are having T-shape. All these things are having T-shape, but with a bond angle less than 90 degrees. And try to understand, students, this bond angle actually is 180 degrees, right? But this bond angle will be greater than 180 degrees, right? When this bond angle is less than 90 degrees, and this bond angle should be greater than, it must be greater than 180 degrees, students. I hope you are clear. Yeah. Now BRFI. So BRFI is a square pyramidal structure. What structure, students? Square pyramidal structure. So, you know, there is a one lone pair, right? There is a square pyramidal structure. There is a lone pair here. So this is the lone pair. This is pyramidal structure, right? This is how we have a lone pair. This is BRFI or IFI, ICL. So these are the structures. So IFI is asked in the complex examination. It is sp3. What is the structure? sp3 D2 hybridization. I'm going to discuss this hybridization shortly. And it is also a good fluorinating agents. Most of the interhalogen compounds are good halogenating agents. That means it will supply the fluorine or chlorine or whatever fluorinating agent, mostly fluorine will be supplied. Similarly, IF5, when it reacts with F2 and it forms IF7, it's a good oxidizing agent and the process gets reduced. And it has the maximum oxidation state of +7, right? It is also used to prepare periodic acid. HiO4 is a periodic acid. So students, these are the structures. And just now I made it very clear. So the XX dash type, so they are linear in structure. XX dash type, they are linear. These are linear in structure. Basically, you can see there is a linearity, right? Similarly, this angle I told you already, it is less than 90 degrees, and the shape is T shape, and the hybridization is sp3 dehybridization, right? Similarly, BRFI here it is sp3 D2 hybridization, and similarly IF7, the hybridization is sp3 D3 hybridization, right? And let us see clearly how a particular interhalogen compound is getting hybridized, right? So let us take, students, let us take here a molecule of AX type. So that means, so I have given 3s means is chlorine, okay, chlorine molecule, right? So you know very well chlorine is having an electronic configuration of 3s to 3p5, right? So this is a ground state configuration, GS. This is a ground state configuration, and naturally, if you know very well, there is a fully filled. You can see here there is a fully filled. Is a fully filled. Here there is a fully filled. There are 3 lone pairs, right? Lone pairs are there. So here, this only gets bonded. This electron is only get bonded. That's why you get CLF, right? CLF or BRCL. This type of compounds will be formed. That means it has how many lone pair, students? 3 non-bonded electrons and 1 bond pair. That bond pair is BRCl. I hope you understood. Now let us take the AX3, that is AX3 type, X dash. So now let us take here, you have here X dash 3 type, right? And you know very well, X size is greater than X dash, right? So for example, if it is Cl F3, so which size is more? So Cl size is greater than F. This is what we have inferred. Okay. Now let us take chlorine, which is oxidation state is, ground state is 3s to 3p5 is the ground state. So here there are how many bonds are required? 3 bonds are required. Monovalent, 3 sigma bonds are required. So naturally you need to excite. So excite it. So this is the first excited state. It is enough. So this is excited. This electron is excited over here. Okay. Now you got a D, right? That's why. So here you have 2 non-bonded electrons, and these 3 will combine with the 3 fluorines, and it leads to the formation of sp3D. You can see here, this is 1s, and this is p3, and this is D. So sp3 dehybridization. So sp3 dehybridization usually should have bond angles. So I mean 2 bond angles. One is so 120 degrees bond angle. The other one is so 90 degrees. So here you have to place the lone pairs in the axial position. What position? Axial position. Here you have to keep. So equatorial position. So that here F, and here F. This is Cl, is the central atom. Because in the axial position, so the lone pairs are basically 120 degrees apart. So BP, these repulsions will be less. 90 degrees repulsions will be less. For example, if I keep these in other way, so for example, if I keep, let us see here, I'm drawing. Let us take a diagonal bipyramidal geometry, diagonal bipyramidal geometry here. Now I'm making an attempt to keep the lone pairs here, 1 and 2. If I keep here F, Cl here, and F here, and F here, what happens? You can see here there is a 90 degree separation, 1, 2, 3, 4 90 degree separations are there, right? So in the other case, the 90 degree separations will be basically less. So if you take here, so in other case, you find the 90 degree separations, very less 90 degree separations are there. You can see here 1 and 2. So this is the chemistry behind. So keeping the lone pairs in dash position. Where you have to keep the lone pairs? Come on.
Equatorial.
Equatorial. Why you have to keep in the equatorial position?
Less repulsions.
Why there are less repulsion? What is the bond angle? 120 degrees, na? Equatorial. Agreed. Axial
Yes.
position, what is the bond angle? Axial position, what is the bond angle? 90
90
degrees.
degrees.
So 120 degrees is safe. Lone pairs are how many degrees apart? Lone pairs are how many degrees apart here? So lone pairs are how many degrees apart?
120.
120 degrees apart. If you keep it in the equatorial position, they are 120 degrees apart. It is safe than 90 degrees. Now, the other one is IFI, BRFI. So these are asked in the competitive examination many times. So this is a favorite. ICL5, BRFI. Okay. Next, this question is also asked. My knowledge was ICL4 minus. ICL4 minus is square planar. It has two, basically. This is I. These are bonds. This is one lone pair. This is one lone pair. This is Cl. This is Cl. This is Cl here. This is Cl here. And naturally, ICL4 minus. You can see this is a square planar geometry. This is square planar. This is square planar geometry, right? So, and BRFI is square pyramidal. So this is square pyramidal geometry with one lone pair. Square pyramidal. I hope you understood this. Now, you can see here the basic hybridization. So first of all, IF5. IF5 means iodine. Iodine is what is the iodine 5s to 5p6, 5p7. So here you can see 5p7. Now, how many here only one, it can bond to only one, right? That means only one sigma bond can be formed. That means you have to excite. How many excite you have to? 2, you have to excite. 2 excited states. So iodine is excited here. 2 electrons are excited here. The 2 have been to the 5d orbital, right? They have been to the 5d orbital, right? Yeah. Now, students try to understand. So here, what happens? Now, here, how many? Now, you can see here how many are available. This is sp3d2, right? So in this sp3d2, one is lone pair. This is a lone pair, non-bonding electrons. That so actually this sp3d2 means octahedral. So there is a one lone pair. It leads to the square. So pyramidal geometry, square pyramidal geometry. I hope you understood this. Similarly, IF7. So students, in the IF7, you see this actually between pentagonal structure. So I just take another thing and I'll draw for you. Okay, you can have a look here. This is a pentagon. This is a pentagon. Okay. Now, if you see these bond angles, so this bond angle is 72 degrees. This you have to know. That's what it is given here. The bond angle here is 72 degrees in all the cases. So this you are expected to realize. So in the pentagon, the bond angle is 72 degrees. That's what it is here reflected. And here this axial bond is 90 degrees. So here there are two types of bond angle, 72 degrees and 90 degrees. In trigonal bipyramidal structure, so there are two types of bond angles. What are those? 120 degrees and 90 degrees because equatorial, there is equatorial triangle there. Okay. So these are all about, yeah. Let us see, it's a hybridization, same thing. Iodine. So it should get excited, right? So this is IF5, of course. So this is IF5, this is IF7. So you have to excite this electron also, 5s electron also. So all electrons should be excited, very, very important. So whatever electrons are there in the 5s and 5p orbital to be excited to the d orbital. You can have a look, students, here. This is 5s. So this is excited, this is excited, this is excited. So all the three are excited here, you can see. Now it can accommodate 7 sigma bonds. So 7 sigma bonds will be formed with the fluorine. So that leads to the formation of a pentagonal bipyramidal structure. So I hope you are clear about the interhalogen chemistry. Now that ends with the different geometries. So always XX forms linear, and XX3 type always forms a T shape, and XF5 forms always square pyramidal structure, and F7 XX7. So it is only one molecule is that is IF7. It leads to the pentagonal bipyramidal structure, right? So let us see some simple questions in interhalogen chemistry. Which is the interhalogen compound?
CLF.
CLF, because it is between two halogens. Simple questions, just to, now similarly, pseudo halogens. Let us see pseudo halogen. Pseudo means what? Pseudo means false. Okay, it looks like a halogen, but it's not a halogen. That is the meaning of pseudo halogen compounds, right? Students, have a look here. So pseudo halogens means I've given an example. CN twice. It looks like a Cl2, right? SCN twice. It looks like a Br2 or like that. So it is, they are called pseudo halogens, right? Yeah. Well, so this chemistry is not in NCERT. But just a word is there. That's it. But anyhow, but let us learn. Cyanogen. CN twice is called cyanogen. So how cyanogen is prepared? By using mercuric cyanide. It means highest oxidation state. So upon heating, will give cyanogen. It is colorless toxic gas. So which is used in the production of fertilizers. Okay. Yeah. Next, thiocyanogen. Earlier you see cyanogen, thiocyanogen. So lead thiocyanate. SCN means cyanate, thiocyanate. Okay. SCN. NCO means cyanate. So when oxygen is replaced by S, it is called thiocyanate. So I just write here so that you understand well. So here I'm presenting what are the basics, some basics for you. This is CN is called, everyone, come on, help me. CN is called, help me.
Cyanide.
Very good, cyanide. NC is called
Isocyanide.
isocyanate. Isocyanate, good. Now, NCO is called
Cyano.
cyanate. It is LCO minus. Okay. Similarly, listen, students, NCS or SCN both are same. Do you know? So here oxygen is replaced by sulfur. So it is called thiocyanate. Clear or not? See here, oxygen is replaced by sulfur. So you can see here, this is a lead thiocyanate. Can you see here? It is given. Okay. What is given? Lead thiocyanate that reacts with bromine. It forms a thiocyanogen. Clear or not? So this is about the cyanogen, thiocyanogen chemistry. You can see here, this is thiocyanate. Can you see here? This is a thiocyanate, right? Yeah. So this is all about preparation of pseudo halogens. Well, students, mostly we are getting into the core part. Okay, now you have seen about the basically some physical and chemical properties of halogens, right? So let us understand the fluorine chemistry. Well, fluorine. So anomalous. Nitrogen in the 5th group, oxygen in the 6th group, fluorine in the 7th group. This behaves differently from other members of the family. Okay, so nitrogen behaves differently from phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. Oxygen behaves differently from sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, and fluorine differs from other halogens, right? Yeah. So it is very fearful. See here. So because it is very reactive. Why? Because it wants one electron. So it is smaller in size. That's why electron affinity is less than chlorine. Why? Inter-electronic repulsion, right? Its bond dissociation energy is less important. Those two are important for complex examination. I conveyed already. FF bond, unstable. So naturally, it has highest ionization energy because small size, and high electronegativity because it wants one electron. It has high electrode potential, positive electrode potential 2.85, 87, I suppose. So it's a good oxidizing agent, right? Yeah. So the small size basically, so because of the small size, F2 undergoes dissociation readily. It's unstable. That's why it's very reactive. Dissociation energy of F2 is less. Do you agree or not? No. What is the order? Order of dissociation energy. Important. I'll ask someone. Okay. Sai Ganesh. Mr. Sai Ganesh, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What is the order of dissociation energy?
So bromine greater than not bromine.
Yashashvi,
Yes, sir.
answer this. Pushyamitra,
Yes, sir.
answer this.
So is it iodine greater than bromine greater than chlorine greater than fluorine?
No, that is a regular order.
Sir,
Okay.
chlorine greater than bromine greater than fluorine greater than iodine.
Rahul Gupta, is it right?
Yes, sir.
That's true. Yeah. What is the answer?
Chlorine
Fluorine
greater than
greater
bromine
than bromine
greater than iodine.
fluorine greater than iodine, sir.
Yes. So that is very, very important. Fluorine is very reactive because it is low bond dissociation energy is there, right? So that's why it is very reactive, right? So very low bond because inter-electronic repulsion. So very, very important. So many times examiner is asking this question in the physical properties. Okay. It's more reactive. This is the reason why it is more reactive also. Everything is interrelated. Okay. So please, that's why you listen very carefully and immediately you just make a note, in some handout and refer it so that will be more useful. Now, fluorine behaves differently because it has no d orbitals, right? Yeah, that's why it can't exhibit oxidation states up to +7. Fluorine can exhibit up to +7 because it has d orbital. Bromine can exhibit up to +7. Iodine can exhibit +7 in IF7. I hope you are clear. Okay, so it has no d orbitals. So fluorine only one oxidation state. What is that oxidation state? -1. It cannot exhibit +1 oxidation state, right? So whereas other exhibits +1 oxidation state. So why? Because high electronegativity. So this is how, because of the small size, because of the highest electronegativity, so because of the lack of d orbitals, so fluorine is something different from the rest of the halogens where they exhibit positive oxidation states +1 to +7. In the interhalogen compounds itself, you have seen +3 is observed in ClF3, +5 observed in IF5, BrF5, and +7 is observed in IF7. +1 is observed in BrCl, ClF, and so on. So, students, now, what is the method of preparation? Fluorosphere. Fluorosphere is a rock. Already I told you, these are one of the ore, right? Fluorosphere, cryolite. These are the two ores of fluorine. Already I've shown you in the slide earlier. So this fluorosphere, CF2 is called fluorosphere. So when you acidify, what happens? HF will be formed. So this is how HF will be formed, right? The other one method is electrolysis method. So HF and KF both will form KHF2. These electrolyte. Because try to understand, students, because H2 HF exists as is a dimer because of hydrogen bonding exists as H2F2. So if one of the hydrogen is replaced by K, it becomes KHF2. So how this is prepared, I explain now. Students, understanding or not? Yeah. So when you basically do electrolysis, so F2 will get at anode. I hope you are clear. So this is the method. So anyhow, you remember, because it is not in your syllabus, but sometimes fluorine preparation is there. So KHF2 is the electrolyte, that much you remember. Now, most of the reactions of fluorine are, so what is it? Tell me the answer. You studied in organic chemistry. Come on. Fluorination is highly exothermic. You studied or not? And iodination is highly endothermic. Studied or not? Yeah. So highly exothermic reaction, fluorine, right? Because why? It is very reactive. It is going to associate with someone. The moment it is going to form bond with someone, a lot of energy is released. Clear or not? And conversely, why iodination is endothermic? Iodine reactions are why endothermic. Come on, you can raise your hand if anybody is interested. Some students now and then, yeah, Vasudev, answer. Just now you entered. So Vasudev, why iodination is? See, iodine, any bond, if for example, Ci bond, it has to form. This bond is very unstable. Okay, this bond is unstable. Any iodine bond is unstable. That's why endothermic reaction. Clear? Yeah. So HF molecule, which of the element is more electronegative? Come on. Among these, which is more electronegative? Naturally, fluorine. What is the electronegativity of hydrogen?
2.1. 2.1, sir.
0.1. Yeah. It seems I am only present here. Okay. Yeah. Online session, only when you are reactive, it will be more. Okay. Yeah. The following properties of fluorine are higher when compared to the remaining halogens. What are those? Come on, help me.
Sir, A option A, sir.
Option A.
D,
Sir,
sir.
option B, sir.
So all halogens are reactive. Okay. IP and electronegativity. These both are higher. Okay. Electronegativity affinity is not higher.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, but chlorine has more electronegativity, right, than fluorine?
No, fluorine is 3.0. Your electron affinity, you are just mistaken.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Okay, no problem. Now, so let us understand it's one of the compound, hydrogen fluoride. So it is exists as a dimer because of the hydrogen bonding. It has a high boiling point. It is also a liquid. Others are gases. You studied in the earlier session. So if you see fluorine, it forms mostly ionic compounds because of its, what is the favorable conditions for the formation of ionic bond? Low IP and high electronegativity. That is one of the reason. So fluorine tends to have so more ionic compounds and more ionic character, right? So because of the electronegativity difference, okay. And other halides are covalent, right? Yeah, because the electronegativity difference is less. So HF, come on, 2.1 and 4.0. What is the difference? Mathematics also you don't know. 2.1 and
1.9.
2.9. So it is greater than XA minus XB is greater than 1.7. It is ionic. The previous yoga you have studied. Yeah. So I hope you understood. So here it is showing intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Inter means between two molecules, right? Others are showing or not? They are not showing, right? Others are, that is the beauty of HF. Students, very important. HF is a acid or a base or a neutral?
It's a strong acid, sir.
No. HI is strong among the halo acids. HI is strong. HF is an acid. I agree. HF should not be stored in the glass. Hundreds of times this question is asked. Why? HF should not be stored in glass because it is going to react with glass. And it forms, I write the reactions here for your benefit. These reactions are very important. So HF reacts with SiO2. What is SiO2, please? Glass.
Sand, sir.
And it forms H2 SiF4. Again, this reacts with The whole sequence are important. The whole sequence is asked in the exam. So H4, Si, F6. Okay. I think this is H2, Si, F6. H2 only. So this is, that means Si, F6, 2 minus. This is called fluorosilicic acid. What is it? Fluorosilicic acid is formed. So HF should not be stored in the glass. Very important. Cannot be stored in glass vessels. This sequence is very, 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 very important. Yeah, mind you. So it's a weak acid. So high bond dissociation energy is there, right? HF. Among the halo acids, HF is having high bond dissociation energy. So it ionizes into H plus ions, right? It's a dimer because there is a hydrogen bonding. So it exists as a liquid at nearly 19 degrees. Others are solids, sorry, gases, HCl, HBr, HI. So, right. So these at room temperature, it exists as a liquid state. Whenever state is considered, it is at room temperature, standard condition. So mercury is at room temperature is a liquid. Bromine may be a non-metal, it is a liquid at room temperature, but high temperature it may boil. I mean, it may become vapor. We can't say it is a vapor. For example, gallium is a liquid at a slightly 35 degrees like that. But room temperature it is not. Try to understand. So this is a very important chemistry. For example, if you see among all these things, okay, they are all gases. HCl, Br, they are gases. HF only is the liquid at room temperature. They are all gases. HCl, HBr, HI. Okay, yeah. At room temperature, they are gases. Try to understand these things. You have to know. That's why I'm presenting in a pictorial format. Okay. Other gases are other hydrohalides are gases at room temperature. Yeah. So hydrogen bonding is present in, just now you have studied. Present in
HF, sir.
HF.
HF, sir.
HF, simple. Yeah, good. Now the most reactive elements among halogens, you know very well. Why?
Fluorine, sir.
Why?
Low bond dissociation energy.
Perfect. That question is asked actually. Why? It is due to dash. Okay. So bond dissociation energy. Sometimes the student will be opting bond length. Will be out. It's not bond length. It's bond BD. Bond dissociation energy. See, the question is there. So what is the answer?
Option B, sir.
Yeah. A and B. You soup. Okay. So small size, high electronegativity, and low bond dissociation energy. Are you following? Everything you have to opt. That's why you should be wise. Okay. Electronegativity leads to, I hope, weak bond length. Weak bond length leads to more dissociation energy also. Of course, you have to see the question properly. Like sometimes interelectronic repulsion, how the question is asked, you should know. Okay. So, which among the following is not possible? F3 is not possible, right? But interhalogen compounds, ICl3, I3 minus is possible. Ki3. There is nothing but orange solid, Ki3. So hydrogen fluoride is a dash.
Weak acid.
Weak acid.
Yes, it's a weak acid. HI is a strong because HI is larger. So H plus ions can be readily donated. Okay. Yeah. So let us see the chemistry of chlorine, right? Yeah. So who is this Sheely? Huh? He is the one who discovered in 1774. So by the action of HCl on MnO2, Decon's process. Okay. So Davy. Okay, these are the scientists which have worked actually on this. Yes, they suggested the name chlorine because of its yellowish green color. Okay. Chloros means greenish yellow. Okay. We are working with the root so that you remember well. It's a greenish yellow, right? So its occurrence already I told you. So chlorine it cannot dance. Okay, with a monoatomic structure. This is the presence of chili saltpeter. Right? I already told you, no, not chili saltpeter. Okay, chlorapatite, fluorapatite. Okay, it's a combined state. It exists actually. Okay, it's highly reactive, like fluorine. Okay, it exists in the combined state. NaCl. Okay, NaCl is available. Carnallite. Okay, so it's widely distributed. Many salts are there. Halides, many halides are there in metallurgy. You see, and also it's the most abundant. The sea itself, you get a lot of salt. Okay, right. Now, so which is the most abundant? Chlorine among halogens, right? among fluorines, chlorine, bromine, iodine, which is the most abundant? Chlorine is most abundant. Okay. So 0.14% on Earth. Yeah. So some of the minerals, let's see, some of the minerals containing. So rock salt, NaCl, just now I conveyed. So similarly, carnallite, KCl, MgCl2, 6H2O. This is a carnallite. So chlorine is present here. Lot of it is available. Similarly, this is Sylvine. It is KCl. It is also called Selvine. Yeah. So it is KCl. And also horn silver means AgCl. Horn silver. Horn silver only you can get silver actually. So one of the ore, horn silver is one of the ore you can extract the silver. The silver is a very valuable metal. Okay. Now, so it's found plenty in naturally seawater. Okay. So these are the sources of chlorine. Is a carnallite also is present in seawater actually. So and seawater contains 2.8% of chlorine in all form of chlorides. Yeah. So this is all about the basics of abundance. Okay. Associated with the most abundant halogen is just now I explained. What is it? Chlorine is the most abundant. Okay. Among the halogens. Among the halogens. So it always exists in the combined state. Why it always exists in the combined state? Because of its high reactivity. Mute, please. Mute. Yeah. Now, important. Chlorine preparation. Please stay focused. Very important. Chlorine preparation.
The slide is still at chlorine occurrence. Sir.
Is it so?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me see. Now, what about chlorine preparation? Can you see chlorine preparation?
No,
All of
sir.
you.
Only occurrence, sir.
No, sir. Occurrence, sir.
1 second. So I just come out and I'll get back to you again. Yeah. I'll just reshare it. 1 second. Can you see the chlorine preparation? All of you. Can you see the chlorine preparation, please, now?
Sir, it's buffering, sir. 1 minute.
Yeah. It's for everybody or it's only you?
Yes, sir. It is
Everybody,
No,
buffering.
sir. It's buffering, sir.
Offering. It's fine now.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Chlorine preparation. You cannot see?
No, sir. Still
No,
buffering,
sir.
sir.
It's still buffering, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'll explain the chlorine preparation in the next session. Okay, I'll close it. Now, let us discuss about our DPT. Clear? Yeah. Can you see the slide? DPT?
No, sir. No, sir.
Oh, what happened? Maybe from your side, I have connection is my side, connection is fine, but some problem.
No, sir.
Okay.
For everyone,
Still
sir.
buffering, sir.
Still buffering. Okay. So anyhow, I'll close the session now. I'll explain this DPT in the next session and I'll start the preparation of chlorine in the next session. Okay. So thanks for bearing. Have a good day. See you.
Thank you,
Sir?
sir.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
among the monovalent anions of 7A group elements, which is the strongest reducing agent, sir?
I didn't.
Okay, sir.
See you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
See you.
Thank you,
See you.
sir.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Thank
question
you,
is
sir.
asked